Welcome to the Social Media Best Practices for Construction webcast panel discussion by the Construction Marketing Association. My name is Neil Brown. I'm chairman of the Construction Marketing Association. I hope many of you are familiar with the association. We have a lot of exciting content on our constructionmarketingblog.org, and we have a great webcast series that is on the 15th of each month. If the 15th falls on a weekend, it's the closest business day. And we're covering a number of important topics in those webcasts. I'm very pleased to introduce our esteemed panel, and each panelist is a member of the association. The first panelist, Melissa York, is Director of Integrated Marketing at USG Corporation. USG is the leading manufacturer of sheetrock gypsum board and many other building materials.
Thank you, Neil. Well, at USG, we have entered the social media arena fairly slowly, but the momentum is dramatically building with each initiative we do due to the success that it imparts on the organization. Our first entrance to this new space was back in 2008 by developing or establishing a YouTube page. This was a pretty easy win for us because essentially it didn't require any dollars to implement our assets into this environment. We were just simply leveraging assets that existed and placing them in an already growing environment. At the time, the organization really looked at this as a true test because there wasn't a lot of confidence that our audiences were in fact online looking for this type of information relative to our business. And as many of us have seen with the use of YouTube, our success was pretty immediate, seeing views increase month over month. And today we actually garner a little over on average over 9,000 views each month. So we see this as a success in getting content to the appropriate people at the appropriate time, and plan to continue to add content and enrich our space in this environment in the future. This year, we have actually extended our social media efforts into key campaigns, such as new product launches, specifically launches that have audiences that are small in size and or have kind of a specialized need or craft, if you will, such as roofing contractors and tile and flooring contractors. And the reason we've chosen these launches and these audiences are, one, for a couple of reasons. A, we have new news. Obviously, we have a new product to share with them. But B, they tend to be reliant on peer input and know-how. And we were interested to see if they are gravitating to these environments in which to share their expertise and leverage know-how, if you will. And we've seen some good results thus far. Lastly, the other area where leveraging social media really is more of a proactive or a future state, if you will. We're highly committed to developing an enterprise strategy around social media for the organization, but felt it was critical to listen and monitor the marketplace before we entered or committed to any one space or any one audience. So it's been a very enlightening effort, and we're close to finalizing that strategy. If we look at the next slide, the way that we are integrating our efforts into other internet initiatives, USG has a pretty big challenge overall in that we have a lot of disparate assets across the organization, content pages, microsites. There's a plethora of things out there, and this is just a sampling of what exists. So it's difficult for us to kind of naturally integrate with our other online assets and or initiatives. We have been successful in doing this in kind of small steps, if you will, but we recognize to truly overcome this, we have to take that ultimate leap and invest in developing a corporate online strategy that impacts not only our marketing department, but the broader organization. And we'll address things like organizational alignment, technology optimization, and standards for enhancing our user experience. Obviously a huge effort, but once it's completed, it will better enable us to integrate all interactive initiatives, not only social media, but other features and components that we want to deploy in which to enhance customer experience. In the meantime, we're really utilizing social media as a key component within key campaigns, as I mentioned. And as an example, earlier this year we launched a new roof board product. We had a very comprehensive campaign developed to introduce this new product, as well as promote our portfolio to our core audiences, because we're really an infant player in the roofing category, so not a lot of people think of USG when they're looking for product solutions. So there was a full integrated campaign that supported this. We did leverage from a social media side, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and supported driving people to those destinations with SEM. So we look specifically at how our social media components performed, Facebook being the first. This launched in February, so it's essentially very new to the marketplace, if you will, and you're probably looking at the results on that page, seeing 40 likes, saying, wow, that's really low, how can that possibly be a success, Melissa? But we have been pleasantly surprised by the level of engagement from our customers in this space. One, because the universe size is not that big, so our potential of having a really large following is not that great. There's only about 1,200 people in this environment that we could even possibly get likes from. So relatively speaking, given the time we've been in the marketplace and who we want to talk to, meaning that universe is so small, we feel pretty good about these numbers, and we'll continue to commit to see if we can really foster more of that continuous dialogue between USG and roofing contractors. So only time will tell, but 6 months probably isn't enough time for us to really truly say, yes, we want to go in full-fledged or not. But we feel pretty good about what we've done to date. Twitter is a similar situation as Facebook, meaning that it's new to the marketplace, just went live in February. Relatively small universe, again, that we're trying to engage, but pleasantly surprised that they've elected to follow us, one, and not a high degree of just USG employees, these are actually contractors, and have also chosen to retweet. So, you know, as we learn from this space, we hope to figure out ways to motivate them to further engage. And then lastly, YouTube was our way of leveraging, as you all know, sight, sound, and motion to speak to all the nuances from installations, technical details, and product performance differentiations. And, you know, we've already had about 2,000 hits in that environment, and we're looking to develop additional content in that space, maybe project profiles, maybe interviews with contractors and how they're looking to our products to solve for their job needs. So we feel pretty good about that mix. And then lastly, we used SEM to drive folks to those content areas. The program generated almost 4,000 clicks to our microsite that supported this product launch. And furthermore, we knew the microsite was doing a lot of heavy lifting because nearly all of those clicks turned into activities within that site. So our cost per activity on site was less than $3 per activity, which was pretty significant in our world. Also, 42% of those visitors that did come went to the glass mat section, which is important to note because that was actually the new product. That's where we really wanted to call the most attention to it because it was our new news. And then from there, you know, we had almost, 25% of those people go back into USG to engage in the content area there and or look for our tools to help specify that product in their upcoming projects. Overall, our effort as a whole has helped the business perform over 30% of goal in all categories, sales, volume, and gross profit. So a huge success from us, and the company feels happy that they explored the social media spaces and are encouraged by the participation that we see to date. The last area that I want to talk about is really kind of what's coming next for USG. I mentioned in the beginning that we have a mission to develop an enterprise strategy for social media. and we've been doing some listening and monitoring of the marketplace to finalize that strategy. And essentially, the table that you're seeing on the screen represents the data that has come out of that effort. And if you really focus in on the areas in yellow, you start to see that blogs are a very rich platform for us against all of our core target audiences. And the architect, it looks like they are the most viable as far as the ones that are participating in these spaces the most. Other potential areas for us would be forums and even Twitter to some degree, depending on the actual audience. So our organization looks forward to finalizing that strategy and seeing if we can realize some successes in what this table is telling us.
Thank you, Melissa. Excellent input. Obviously, blogs are a really high leverage point for USG. But also, you know, with all the hype around Facebook, it remains quite minimal compared to some of the other options that you have.
Yeah, Radian 6 and our partner Gyro HSR really helped us monitor the marketplace. We found Facebook to be interesting too, Neil. What our data tells us and what our personal contacts with our customer tells us is that they're in that space, but they're in that space for a personal reason and not a professional reason yet. So it's not really a lucrative space for us and what we need to communicate.
Well, that is our time for today, and I would like to say we did not get to all questions, but if you would like to email me a question that you might have, I'd be glad to either try and answer it or forward it on to one of our esteemed panelists. On behalf of our panelists, we'd like to thank you again for attending and look forward to interacting with you in the future. Thanks so much.